Obviously, last week was a big win for us, for our guys. I thought, pleased watching the film, pleased with how we played, how we performed, how our team's growing. I think this week offers, to me, for us in our growth, the biggest challenge of the season so far. Playing against a team in UMass that, despite being 2-6, have been outscored on the season by a grand total of 5 points, I think it is. 5 points is their point differential on the season. So that's not very indicative of their record. They've had some close. Every game basically comes down to the wire. They've been down here, played in SEC stadiums before, and if their quarterback doesn't get banged up at the end, have a great opportunity to go win the game. They've won 2 in a row. Always play tough. They have a very explosive offense. That puts up a lot of almost 30 points a game. Puts up a lot of yards. Aggressive defense. They got some really good corners on the outside to go cover you. And for us, I think the last time we coming off a big win. It's with our players. And I talk about us being a young team that's starting to get older. We'll see our maturity this week of how we handle the success. Last time we had a little bit of success, on a big win. I don't think our guys handled it very well. And so the challenge for us is the focus, the effort, the grind of practice, attention to detail within our preparation to get ready for a very good football team. Our team last year, came down to the final possession of the game when we played them last year. So hopefully that works, in our favor and our guys in their attention to detail within the preparation and the growth and the maturity of our team. Have we improved from the last time we were in this situation? Which would have been after LSU, before Georgia. Have we improved as a team? Obviously, the difference is we're at home. We need, even though it's an early morning kickoff, I hope we get that home field SEC advantage with our fans turning out and creating a great environment and creating a lot of energy and juice and bringing that extra oomph to help us win the game. So, but a great challenge for our guys and this week. We need to, if we want to have a great season, we need to continue to take these steps, continue to grow, mature, and improve in every facet.
Questions? We'll get a mic.
Jesse had a few passes caught in against Texas A&M. You mentioned in the preseason that he's a guy that just seemed to kind of get it this preseason. In what ways has he grown?
Well, I think one of the things with a guy like Jesse is he's really understands the position. He's done a good job of being able to. We're able to move him around. Because he's very intelligent. And with that experience, he knows how to play all of the receiver positions. And the great thing about it is he knows not just what to do, but he also understands the technique and the route running of the different positions. And with all the injuries we've had, there's been a great opportunity for him, and he's taken advantage of that and gone out and made plays. And you see that the development that comes along with the program, and he's done a really nice job this year.
I know teams a lot of times try to find their identity throughout the season. Do you think this team, especially that A&M game, this is kind of the personality of the team, strong defense, run the ball, a little bit of passing. Do you think it's comfortable with itself now?
I do think that the team does think we have a little physical mentality to us, with defense and physical running the football. And I think the team takes some pride in that, on both sides. I think when you talk about the team of the physicality of it, of the pride, and and even Eris Williams, you look at his stat line on Saturday is probably not awe-inspiring, but boy, it's pretty impressive. Of taking the pride of pounding, getting the tough yards that eventually allow for some of these big hits. Now he might not be always the guy getting the big hit, but he's doing that. The offensive line taking the pride in being able to run the football on people, and I think that also goes with the defense. I think the last couple games even though I don't think we finished real well on Saturday, if you look at the fourth quarter, we didn't. Statistically, we didn't at all. But I think even, different times during the game, putting together these, some of these longer drives we're putting together. I think the whole team takes pride in that, the physicality, that physical mindset that in the defense, like, okay, hey, why don't you guys throw together a 6 to 8 minute drive right now? We're going to catch our breath, sit over here for a while, you go pound on them, put some pressure on them, then we're going to come out and get after them again. So I do think they're starting to learn that identity.
Hey Dan, your name has been rumored once again in open jobs, with Florida being the latest one. How do you compare your current situation, your current job here, to that of some of your peers who have were like leaders of traditionally strong programs?
Well, I think, obviously, I'm in a great position here. You know, I mean, I think we've been able to build this program up. I've built the facility. I've had my hand in how the facility's been built. We've been able to recruit the type of players that we want to recruit into our system. I have unbelievable support from our athletic director, you know, who is also a coach, who has a great understanding of what we're trying to do. I might be one of the most fortunate coaches in the country with our president of the university, who's a football player. And, loves ball, you know. I mean, there's not a whole lot of presidents you'll see that you can't find a lot of videos of presidents dancing in locker rooms like you have of our president after certain games. And so I think, you know, we're very fortunate here too that through the university they've allowed us to establish, to allow us to build the program and build it the way that the vision that we had, and we have everybody on the same page, so I am very fortunate that way.
Coach, I know Montez Sweat hadn't been here for a long time, just being a JUCO guy, but how much improvement has he made since he's been here?
I mean, a lot, you know, and I think because, you know, he came in as a great athlete, you know, you look at him, his length and his athleticism, but he's also put on the size, and he's also really worked to understand the game, you know, of not just trying to say, hey, I'm a good athlete, then go rush the passer, understand how to fit, how to be a run stopper, how to be an every down player, and you see him constantly improving at that from one week to the next, and you know, and it's great to see, because I think he's got a bright future. I mean, as a you know, as a junior for us, you know, you let him soak it in and get through another off-season program next fall, and then really understand how to be you know, a three down, like an every down player. You know, I think he's going to have a great future.
Coach, since the bye week, how do you feel like your team's progressed over the last 3 games?
I think we've come along nicely. I think they've grown up. We'll see. Again, like this week's going to be a big challenge. I do. I think we went into a tough environment Saturday night. I thought we had a good plan. Game didn't start off exactly the way we wanted it to start off. But, you know, I think you can see the maturity of, you know, the game. You know, we went on the road. The last time we had been on the road, I think, was Auburn. Was the last time we were on the road before that. And the game didn't start off the way we wanted. And I think we handled it very differently on Saturday than we did the time before. So I think you see them, the maturity of the team, you know. They were loose on Saturday, and I was a little nervous going in. I thought we had a great week of preparation, you know, and I'm like, okay, either we're very confident and loose, you know, or we're a little nervous and loose, or we're actually, you know, a little goofy right now as a team. And, I don't know, maybe it was a combination of all of it, but you know what? I mean, I looked at the guys, and that foot hit the ball. They were ready to go play in all 3 phases, and you know, so I think that also gets back to the team finding themselves of you know, I mean, here's what matters most. When that foot hits the ball on Saturday night, that we're going hard. You know, that all 11 guys on the field are going hard, and there's all the guys waiting on the sideline to get on the field, can't wait to go hard. You know, and if dancing, if sitting quietly, if talking to pregame, if whatever it is that makes us, you know, prepare the right way, have a great week of practice, and then as we're preparing to go play, that foot hits the ball, we're ready to go play hard. I'm great with it.
No point dancing around the elephant in the room here, but do you have any interest in the Florida job, or is there a circumstance where you?
I'm really happy here. You know, I mean, I think if you look at what we have at the program, with the administration, the direction this program's headed in right now, you know, I mean, I haven't really thought much about it, except really worrying about UMass, you know, and I don't like to speculate on that stuff. You know, I've been here long enough, everybody knows that. I mean, as the year goes on, it gets into that silly season of who's going where and what's going to happen and all that. Our focus completely on UMass, which has to be because they're an excellent football team. And, you know, I'm very happy with what we're building here. I think we're building for a great future right now in Mississippi State with the young football team.
Just one follow-up. Like you said, it's not the first time your name has been linked over the years. How much of a distraction has it ever been, and what is the potential for it to be a distraction?
I think it used to be a lot more than it is now, you know, because the fact that it's happened in the past, still here, and happily still here coaching and hopefully continuing to win a lot of football games. I think it's a lot less of a distraction because I think the players on the team, they know. I mean, it's always a distraction of recruiting. You got to have recruiting meetings and, you know, make sure everybody's on the same page because, you know, they haven't been through it, the guys in recruiting. So you're on the phone reassuring all the recruits. But the guys on our team and within the building, it doesn't become as much a distraction because it's happened before. So, you know, if you go ask the older guys, like, you know, same thing kind of seems to pop up every year.
And this is not going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, I hope not in the way. I always say this: you're either on your way out because you're not winning, or on your way out because you're winning. Right? That's kind of the rumors that spread. I'll take the on the way out because you're winning. Every guy in our building will take that. But in our league, it seems one or the other. You know, in a lot of different ways. And so I'll take the winning side of that. And so, you know, that's why I think the guys in the program, it doesn't really become a distraction for any of our players.
Hey, Coach, based on the way 2016 ended, spring practice, fall camp, do you feel this team's on schedule or maybe even ahead of schedule through 8 games?
Well, there's a lot of football to be played still. I do like how we're playing. I do like how we're growing and developing. I really do like the attitude of our team. I think it's shifted. I think we've gotten back to maybe some of the things we lost last year with a little bit of the edge, a little bit of the chip on the shoulder attitude, and that we really didn't play with last year. And I think they've bought back into it, you know. And so ahead of schedule, I just like the attitude. I don't know that there's really a schedule. It's just I want to, you know, when Walker out to the practice field, there's a certain standard of expectations we have. When you show up on Saturday, there's a standard of expectations we have, and our guys are playing to that standard right now.
Coach, with the early signing period coming up, it appears that a lot of these coaching changes are happening mid-season. Do you believe that could be an unintended consequence of the early signing period?
I'll be honest, I don't know about that because the issue with early signing this year is it's the first time. So I don't know that. I don't know. You know, in the future, I think people might have more of an idea. I don't know how it's going to play out. I really don't. You know, I have no idea how many guys are going to want to sign early, who's going to want to wait, who's going to want to do this with visits, just how that plays out for the recruiting cycle of things. So I don't know that it has, you know, in just college football in general, I think there's so many unanswered questions with the early signing period for everybody, or that unknown of the early signing period, that I don't know that is going to have much of an effect on it right now. It could down the road in the years to come, depending on how this early signing plays out.
As a quick follow-up on that first, there are several coaches throughout the nation who have said that commits that don't sign in that early signing period aren't truly committed, and you have to treat them that way. Is that something you believe?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm guessing, you know, I mean, if you're committed, right? I'm committed to my wife.
You already signed.
Yeah, I signed. No, the commitment part of it, again, I don't know how it's going to play out. You know, you assume someone's committed, and they're committed to you to come play here, and you're committed to honor their scholarship. And hey, I know that doesn't always happen, right? And if the kid throws hats and flips around, and you know, ultimately ruins a dream for another kid because you know, when signing day hits and they throw the hat and flip it around, you can't replace that scholarship because the guy that's next on the list, they've all signed elsewhere, even though they wanted to come to your school, you know, or the coach that pulls the scholarships on the kid late. I think the coaches, they say, hey, boy, you get it's okay for the kid to do it, but not for the coaches to do it. I don't think that's right. And, it kind of gets off all on the wrong foot because you look at commitment. I'm asking our guys to be committed to tremendous work ethic when they get here. Be committed to that. And so you hope during recruiting they understand what we're asking them to do and what the commitment means more than, you know, I guess a lot of people call it the reservation, and I'm gonna make a reservation, but if I don't show up, I don't show up, right? It's like going out to dinner. You know, they don't punish you, right? Seinfeld episode, right? Reserve a rental car, right? So you get there and you expect the car to be there. If you don't show up, they don't penalize you, but you expect the car to be there when you show up, right? So if they're committed to us, you expect them to sign, and they expect to have a scholarship, but, you know.
I also noticed there was a big chain on the sidelines giving the guys that scored or created turnovers. What's the backstory
Well,
there?
I think Nick Savage had it in there and said, hey, we're on the road, you know, and we've really worked hard. And, you know, I got a steel chain that shows that it's all of us together. And it's unbreakable if we all work offense, defense, kicking game together. And he talked to the team at breakfast about that. You know, and handed it to the captains, and then they kind of handed it around to somebody else during the course of the game. And so they got the message, though, because I thought we did play well in all three phases of the game.
You talked about the silly season getting here a little early, and I'm not necessarily talking about Mississippi State, but just across the league, do you think that there's, you know, people are investing millions and millions and they keep bumping into the glass ceiling called Alabama, and do you think there's like a frustration across the league a little bit maybe that you can't break through and you're seeing some of that boiling over?
I don't know. I think, you know, I do think, and not just I think Nick and Alabama have done a great job with their program, but I do think a lot of different schools, when you talk about program building and you look at a cycle, okay, if the school hasn't been doing that well, you come in, you start winning, you start going to bowl games. Next thing, you start competing for conference championships. The next thing, you win a conference championship and go to a New Year's Bowl. You know, and then the next, all of a sudden, you're competing for a national championship. And what's happened over the last 12 years in the SEC, for the most part, you know, the exception of a year or two here or there, is you miss all the steps. You go from, okay, we're going to build the program. The next step's a national title, because whoever's won the SEC West has won, in the last 12 years, the majority of the national championships. So that, I'm going to build the program, compete for the West title, win the West title, compete for the SEC title, win the SEC title, go to a big-time bowl game. All that gets skipped over because the majority of, I don't know the exact number, but there's a bunch of them in the last 12 years, national champions have come from the SEC West. So I think all the steps that you used to have to build the program aren't there anymore. You build the program to start winning and go to some bowl games, and step two is national title, and all the ones in between are gone. And so I do think that puts a lot of pressure on people in this league, and puts a lot of expectations among the fan bases on people within the Southeastern Conference, because they want to win. They want to see you continually taking those steps, continually moving forward, continually getting better, and competing to be a championship team. And in this league, that's a big next step.
There were a couple of uncharacteristic things in that Texas A&M game with the 4 punts and the delay of games. What was going on after you watched the film?
Well, I think, you know, you look at a guy with Logan, obviously, we tried to do some different things. They have the best punt returner in the country. And so I don't know that we executed that perfectly, part of it. And, you know, I give him credit because we did an amazing job in kickoff coverage on that side of it. And then, you know, the opposite on punt. Now, we didn't give up the returner, which ultimately was goal number 1, but we didn't really get the statistical yardage we want out of our kicks. You know, we didn't give up the game breaker, so I think it was more that, and, you know, I mean, you put a great punt returner that can change the game at any time back there, they're going to have an effect on the game. Now, he didn't, and we contained him not to have the big play, but he did have effect on certain field position battles, you know, with us not being as consistent in the punt game as we've been.
And the 3 delay games.
What were the delay games on?
Yeah, 2 on offense and 1 on
Yeah, the
punt
one was
team.
right after a turnover. That was kind of, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like it got going quick. You know, I didn't look up because you didn't see right away whether they went to 42nd where they should have bumped it up.
The other was, you were standing right by, I guess, the field judge.
Oh, the funny one.
Yeah.
I tried to get a timeout. He didn't hear me. He said, shocking, right? Because you people see me, I am somewhat emotional on the sidelines. It's shocking that you don't hear me sometimes. I've had people up in the stands say, I can hear what you say. Remember that every once in a while. Everything makes sense. No, and then the punt one, I think we were checking and we just didn't Some of that's, two of them are me not getting the people on the field fast enough in that situation to make the calls with the checks that we had. Or after the turnover, we didn't get on the field fast enough.
You had two big SEC games without your starting left tackle, and Greg Island really seemed to handle that situation well. Just kind of assess his play since Martinez has been out and how he's performed as a redshirt freshman.
I'll tell you what, he's really grown, and I think, he got the opportunity to get on the field and then have some experience, maybe not play great, but then get into a bye week. After his first playing experience was thrown into a really tough situation, get into a bye week and realize I'm going to be the starter and really embrace that, and I think he's played well. It's great. We're going to have Martinez. Martinez was cleared to play, and our plan is to play him only in an emergency situation so we can try to get him back to 100%. And because he was good to play, I think he was ready to go in the game, but we sat him. We expect him to be back at 100%. So where he's going to be playing, he'll play this weekend, and have him back, and we might, I think Greg's development allows us now that opportunity to even roll Martinez through a little bit to get him back up to playing speed instead of going from 0 to 60. To build him back into playing shape for the final stretch of the season.
Is there any other updates on any other guys, Gabe or Don Gray or?
Donald's getting an MRI today, so we should know more. Gabe will be doubtful again this week with the foot. Who else didn't go? Dez, we expect Dez to be ready to play this weekend.
Michael Sorey.
He should be back this weekend. There was a chance they thought he could have been ready for last weekend. He wasn't, so he should be, we're hoping he's back this week. Saw him down in the training room yesterday. He felt better, so hopefully we'll get him back out on the practice field this week. But he'll be on the edge, I don't think he'll be 100% for this game, but I think he'll be available.
What's the MRI for Donald?
Groin. Yeah. They injected it after the game for swelling, so we had to wait an extended period of time to get an accurate MRI for him. So that wasn't going to get done until today.
I'm old and I don't understand your running back rotation, but it doesn't seem to be any set pattern as to who comes in. Well, what is your thinking there? You ask Golan?
You have to ask Greg, I don't... I like rolling the guys through. Now, we will have specific personnel groupings to get certain guys on the field at certain times. That's probably why it looks maybe something different sometimes, because there will be certain personnel groupings that we want to back in. And then there's others where it doesn't matter which back's in. So that can kind of make it look like you're not always sure who's going to be in the game. And Greg rolls them through, of what we're doing and situationally roll them through. And like you see it was a great situation for the young guys on Saturday. There are a couple times that, again, you put the ball in some of the young guys' hands, they're pretty dynamic, and then there's some other things going on that it's, it's learning for them, of them really understanding. You got to be ready to be an every down player. I think Nick Gibson blocked a punt on a quick kick. Not on our punt block team. But that's something that he's got to be ready for as a player. Hey, you're going to be in the game. We're going to do this in these situations. I know we put the ball in your hand and out of the backfield, catching the ball, running routes, you're dynamic, but you have to be ready to do those things as well and not kind of freak out when we're doing something a little bit outside of the box.
And I know you're not directly connected with the UMass program. I know you're from that area, but just somebody around Southeastern Conference football, is there any light you can shed on their program and what they mean?
Well, I know Mark Whipple for a long time. Obviously an excellent football coach. He led UMass to a national title before they made the move to FBS level. Led them to an FCS national championship. He was a great coach when I was growing up. I remember him coaching up there, and in that background, very innovative offensive coach. Played him. He was the head coach of Brown when I was coaching at Columbia, early on in my coaching career, and they were very innovative offensively. Obviously has an NFL background, been around, so just a really good football coach. Being an independent's a different deal too. They're an independent now, so you know, they come in, these are, every game's big games for them. You know, they're not looking at always maybe the big picture of the season. How's this play out within our conference championship race? It's a big game for them, and you know, you see them play with that sort of edge to them when they're on film. Like I said, they're, I mean, you hate saying cliche, hey, they're the best 2-6 team around, but I mean, when you really statistically look at them and how their games have gone, they're an excellent football team that, you know, some of the breaks hadn't bounced their way at different times in really tight games, and it didn't matter who they're playing. You know, they didn't, you know, they went up to Knoxville and they didn't back down from anybody and had a chance to win the game, you know, in a 4-point game at the end. So I think that's what we have to make sure our mindset's prepared for the type of team we're going to get coming in here.
All right, thank you.